everyone, a huge welcome to Portimão in the Algarve region of Portugal, where we are for round 5 of Ferrari Challenge Europe for 2026. It is beautiful in terms of weather conditions and also location. Honestly, it's not a bad place to be spending a weekend, frankly. And when you're watching Ferrari Challenge racing, that's just like the icing on the cake, is it not? Fantastic opportunity. You can see there some of the VIP suites which sit alongside one of the more interesting turns here at the Portimão circuit. It is something of an extraordinary circuit because it winds its way through the countryside here, and this is our 2026 calendar. As you can see, we've already been to Le Castellet and Mugello and Spielberg in Austria. We were in support of the 24-hour race at Le Mans just a few weeks ago, and here we are in Portimão with Budapest still to come, and then round 7 will be in Barcelona, which also forms part of the huge Finale Mondiale event at the Circuit de Catalunya in Spa. So very much looking forward to that, but a lot of racing still to be done before then. The current track temperature, as you can see, is 37 degrees. The air temperature is 28 degrees. Honestly, it feels a bit warmer than that, in truth. But that's what it is. And you can see there's turbines fluttering around in the wind as our Copichel and Copichel AM drivers lining up on the grid, ready to do battle. 30 minutes plus 1 lap. Just for your information, if you've not watched Ferrari Challenge before, if the car has a black strip across the top of the windscreen like this one does, the 108 car of Jean Roux, it means they're a Shell AM driver. If it has a yellow strip across the top of the windscreen, it means they are a Shell driver. So those are the two categories that will be racing in this particular race as we look at Ernst Kirchmeier, who is the Shell pole sitter and driving for the Kessel Racing
Ciao
team.
Alberto, ci proviamo a prendere le misure perfette. Partiamo subito dalla griglia, andiamo un po' a sentire le voci dei coach e dei protagonisti che insomma
I know that. So, as I mentioned, we were in support of the 24-hour race with 2 races at the Circuit de la Sarre in Le Mans. What a weekend it was. Huge grid of Ferrari Challenge cars then would take to the Circuit de la Sarre for something very special indeed. They were starting in 2 groups, of course, Pirelli and Pirelli AM, and then Shell and Shell AM. All drivers trying to make haste their escape up the road. And just to be part of this extraordinary event was a highlight of the year for all of these drivers, pulling so much speed. And some of the overtakes, and Dylan Medler was on an absolute mission there. Great to watch. And wherever you looked, whether it was in Shell or whether it was in Trofeo Pirelli, there was a lot going on. Hendrik Viol was certainly part of it. There you can see the team would delight in everything that was going on as well, because you win and you lose as a team. So race 1 was done. It was time to put race 2 in the book. Early on Saturday morning then, as the cars were released. First of all, the Pirelli and Pirelli AM drivers. And then it would be the Shell and Shell AM drivers that were starting away back on the circuit by splitting the 2 groups. Here you can see just how packed it was, even with the 2 groups being split. Jan Bernier really getting away very, very well, but so too did Mitchell Green. And how did Thibaut Valent manage to avoid, or lots of drivers to avoid Thibaut Valent, but he did and they did. And Antonello Caletta, global head of endurance, was making the trophy presentations along with Mr. John Elkann. What a weekend in Le Mans. And what a weekend we have here in Portimão. Cars are looking good. You can see the heat rising from the tarmac. And Ernst Kirchmeier, Thibaut Valent share in the front row of the grid. And as if by magic, there is the 132 car of Thibaut Valent. Thibaut's son Benz is here. And Benz, a young whippersnapper of a driver who made his name in the Ferrari Challenge and has gone on to lots of other racing categories right now. But Thibaut Valent, who has been very loyal to the Ferrari Challenge and has been for a number of years. I can't quite remember when we first saw Thibaut Valent in the Challenge, and Talking of the challenge, Ilaria and Andrea there, two of the management team of the Ferrari Challenge, and only right to find out a little bit more about this fantastic circuit here at Portimão. And we're going to do that with a local driver, Portuguese driver, and it's a second or third season, I think, in the challenge, and that is Alvaro Ramos.
Hello, my name is Alvaro Ramos. I'm a Portuguese driver that I compete for the third year in the Ferrari Challenge with my team Santo Galo Araújo. Portimão, it's a circuit, it's a very challenging track. Come on with me on the board. Follow me, guys. Now we are starting the full throttle until, attention, this one is very important. We need to reduce at 4, which out on the right, full throttle here, let's go. The next one is very important. We need to reduce until the second one is one of one. Now take care, now full throttle. We need to release a little bit, otherwise we go to the right, warning the track limits. Let's go. We have this one in front. Let's try to pass him. Now take care. Oh, brake. Second here. Let's go. Throttle again. Full throttle. Prepare the left one until 50 meters. Try to brake. On fourth. Come on. Now third. A little bit attention. Now full throttle, let's go, it's a roller coaster now, let's go. A little bit full throttle here, until up. This is a blind corner, don't see nothing, attention. We reduce to the third, let's do it to the right, now full throttle. Roller coaster again, it's a blind one again. We'll be in third. Attention, now full throttle. We need to reduce for one of the most important because it's a long straight to come here. It will be in third. Full throttle here. Attention, release. 1, 2, let's go. Full throttle until the end. Let's go. It was a fantastic lap. I hope that we enjoyed so much as I love to be here. See you all at this weekend in Portimão. Bye bye, ciao.
Thank you very much, Alvaro, for giving us a insight, really, from a driver's eye perspective to this fantastic roller coaster of a circuit. Eric Chung, then, driver of the car number 198, is going from P6 on the grid. His lap time of 1:44.862 as we have a minute before the formation lap gets underway. High time to introduce my colleague alongside me here to add colour to our broadcast during the course of the afternoon. Nico Spalek, good afternoon. The sun is shining. We are ready for a fantastic race here on this circuit.
Absolutely, and this is the circuit here in 3D, and there you can see all the turns and the 3 sectors of this circuit. It's more up and down than you can appreciate from this vantage point, but you will see that in shot in but a few moments as the cars are released behind the safety car in about 15 seconds from now.
Indeed so. The Algarve International Circuit then, which contains some 15 turns, 6 left, 9 right. It's about 15 kilometers from Portimão. So as the graphics indicate, we're about to get the race start underway. Then the Richard Mills safety car leads the cars away. Then stand by, here we go. We'll bring you the grid in full in just a moment. So spectators are vying for the best vantage point to watch the race as it unfolds then. Louis Bruscua and Alexei Komarov are on the 9th row of the grid. It's Paolo Scudieri and Alvaro Romas, who we've just heard from, P16 and 15. Henrik Kamstrup in a very out of position. Von Skeltermar going from P14 and 13. Leon Rindbeek and Charles Chan. Charles Chan could be a danger man from the 6th row of the grid. Eric Chung and Fritz Muller going from P10 and P9. It's Karl Runefeld and Masaru Yaneda who are on the 4th row of the grid to the 3rd right now, where we find Jan Sandman and Shintaro Akatsu. And then it's Sven Schirmer and Jean Roux. Jean Roux, the best of the AM drivers from qualifying, but the front row of the grid contains Tibor Valint and Ernst Kirchmeier. I remind you that if it's a yellow colour bar, it's a Shell driver. If it's a black colour bar, it's a Shell AM driver. Let's hear from Ernst Kirchmeier, then going from pole position on this grid.
Great qualifying today. I have to say I'm very lucky because it was extremely close to Tibor Valint. He pushed a lot and it wasn't sure I can hold the pole position or not. Thanks God it worked out. And so I have a pole in Portimão. It's great for me because this is an amazing racetrack, very difficult, very interesting. Yes, and for the race, it will be a very difficult race because the tire management and yeah, I try, of course, to fight for the race win, let's say, or for the podium. Thank you.
Well done, Ernst, and I think you're right. Tyre management is going to be critical, Nico, because tyre deg will be high because the ambient temperature is high, but the track temperature is high. Of course, the tyres that the drivers qualified on are the tyres that the drivers are starting the race on, friend.
Absolutely, and the turns have a lot of different radiuses, so quicker corners, slower corners, a very technical circuit, up and downhill. So track position, tire condition, those are going to be key determinants, but obviously everything starts with the start.
Key determinants, as you quite rightly say. Shell drivers, Shell AM drivers, 2 categories in the one race, 30 minutes plus 1 lap. Always a rolling start, the formation lap of the Ferrari Challenge. Now the rule is this, when it comes to the start, these drivers have to cross through what is their grid box effectively on the starting grid. Otherwise the start is looked at, and we've seen penalties awarded for drivers being out of position when it comes to the start. The Richard Mills safety car has peeled off into the pit lane. It is now the responsibility of Ernst Kirchmeier and Tibor Valint to control the pace of the rolling start. You can see that the 2 cars are not absolutely side by side yet. Roll through those grid boxes. And we await the lighting gantry, and when the lights go from red to green, we will be racing. Who will get the slingshot into turn 1? The lights go out right now. And for my money, the cars were not absolutely side by side. I think Ernst Kirchmeier had got the head of Tibor Valint for sure. Jean Roux maintains. Sven Schirmer trying to go around the outside of Jean Roux so that he can get involved with the top 2 Shell drivers. And indeed, Sven Schirmer has gone through to pick up P3 in the race overall, and that puts him right in the mix when it comes to the Shell drivers. It looks like a little bit of a piece of bodywork has gone for a Burton there, a bit of contact. Sven Schirmer then trying to brake hard going into that turn, then they roll uphill. I think we might have lost Masaru Yaneda and maybe Charles Chan. Just looking at my timing screen, we saw a piece of bodywork, and certainly Yaneda and Charles Chan have dropped down the order. Ernst Kirchmeier trying to break away from Tibor Valint and Sven Schirmer. Is Jean Roux, who's got the benefit of Karl Runefeld, a Shell driver between himself and Shintaro Akatsu. And different lines completely there taken by Kirchmeier and Tibor Valint into that turn, with Sven Schirmer just trying to keep on terms with them and not finding it easy, to be honest, because those top 2 drivers, Nico, have broken away a bit.
Indeed, and fortunately Yaneda and Chan have been able to continue. They've crossed the first sector line, so even though with a huge gap, probably off the track, but they were able to continue. So continued does our race. As we can see, drivers jostling for position. Portimão is not an easy circuit to overtake. There is not the one immediate spot, but one of them is at the end of the start-finish straight and into the first sequence of turns.
Well, you can see from the graphics that the incident that involved Charles Chan and Masaru Yaneda is under investigation. And it happened in turn 4 as we ride on board right now with Tibor Valint. Chasing down Ernst Kirchmeier with Sven Schirmer not so far behind, and We're losing Alvaro Ramos dropping down the order now, I can see from the timing screen, but we're on board with Tibor Valint. We stay on board with the driver then who will be racing at his home circuit, where next we're out with the Ferrari Challenge because we'll be going to Budapest. Big movers then, Karl Runefeld up 3 places, Von Skeltermar up 4 places, so too Paolo Scudieri up 4 places. Our progress chart on the left-hand side of the screen that we were able to show you just a moment ago. So cars up the hill. Eric Chung driving the 198 car, the familiar red livery of Eric Chung, and the number that has become synonymous with that fantastic challenge driver. Just ahead is the 186 car of Jan Sandman. So Kirkmeyer from Valint, Schirmer, Jean-Roux, Shintaro Akatsu, and then Fritz Muller is running P3 for the Shell Am drivers, but he's got 3 Shell drivers ahead of him before he can get on terms with Shintaro Akatsu. This is what happens with 2 categories within the same race. It makes it fantastically interesting, and lots of strategies can play out. So Tibor Valint then, driver of car number 132, running in that P2 place. And Ernst Kirkmeyer just breaking away, and he's built a margin of 7/10 between himself and Tibor Valint. Here's a replay of the start. And for my money, Ernst was a long way ahead of Tibor Valint, but race control will say, well, that was down to Tibor, you know? Every driver, pleasingly, crossing through their grid boxes, we've had no advice that the start is being looked at, so thankfully, race control will consider that start to be utterly satisfactory. On board here with Tibor Valint, and at this point, you see, as you run downhill, it's reminiscent, really, of going into turn 1 at Mugello in so many regards here at Portimão. Ernst Kirkmeyer was able to show a clean pair of heels to Tibor Valint. We just saw a little shot of the Charles Chan and Masaru Yaneda incident. That looked like Henrik Kamstrup outbraking himself going through that turn and losing out on a couple of places. Perhaps it was Henrik Kamstrup, perhaps it was, well, it might have been Charles Chan, but I think it was Henrik Kamstrup. There is Jean-Roux. Jean-Roux is leading for the Shell Am drivers. There is Sven Schirmer, who, I have to be honest, Nico, has not been able to shine a torch to Tibor Valint or Ernst Kirkmeyer since he got that overtake done on Jean-Roux. And that put him with 2 Shell drivers and competitive drivers, therefore, in his category ahead of him. But they've just broken away from him.
Yeah, it looks like in the early goings, the top 2 drivers, Valint and Kirchmeier, are just in a different class, and they're gaining a few tenths every single sector. But we've seen that before, that pace can change, and sometimes tire pressures work better towards the beginning of the race, and that there comes a point where that changes. So those 2 drivers certainly will be pushing because they want to keep or capture the top position. And for Sven Schirmer, it's more about the rearview mirror right now than is thinking about attacking.
Yeah, you're certainly right. So Kirkmeyer then, and to be fair, Tibor Valint has stuck with him like glue on the back of the 1006 car, and you're absolutely right in what you say. Yes, engineers may have looked at this from a strategic point of view, and some drivers may be running slightly higher pressures, slightly lower pressures. Pressures, of course, in the tyres increase as the race goes on, and that's where you've decided to pitch your strategy in terms of what's going to work best for you. And of course, every driver has a different driving style, and once again, the setup of the car is of course mirrored to the likes of the particular driver. So we have seen Tibor Valint come the end of the race seemingly be able to turn it on and be able to find a bit more. We've got a yellow flag at turn 4, and I think that might involve Henrik Kamstrup. We saw him go off and outbrake himself going into the turn, and whether Henrik has just not been able to recover that, don't know. We will find out in due course. It's Kirkmeyer from Valint, from Schirmer in the Shell drivers. In the Am drivers, it's Roux, Akatsu, and Muller. Now, where that car is, Nico, I would have suggested if we can't get that car moving, it could be a safety car here. So the Formula Racing driver, Henrik Kamstrup, driver of that 113 car, is up against the barriers there, and as I say, just wave double yellows at the moment. Whether we can recover that car with just the wave double yellows. Let's see. Where are we? 22 3/4 minutes plus 1 lap of this race remaining. And we stay with Tibor Valin, then chasing down Ernst Kirchmayr. Ernst Kirchmayr is one of those drivers, Nico, that just never ever makes an error, seemingly. And therefore, that makes it much harder for Tibor Valin not only to stay on terms, but also to try and encroach upon the gap that Kirchmayr is beginning to just lose out a little bit, because it's dropped down to just 6/10 now. We saw them pass the Henrik Kamstrup car.
Yeah, absolutely. In qualifying, Ernst Kirchmayr did quite a few laps less than Tibor Valin did, who pushed all the way till the end. So just on paper, you would think that the Ernst Kirchmayr Pirelli P0s would be just a little bit fresher come the end of the race. Yeah. But we've been wrong about that in the past. But for the time being, the two are chasing each other. And as you said, there was the Henrik Kamstrup car. It seems like race control feels like a safety car is not necessary. Maybe after the Crocodile has passed that spot, they will try to recover the car. But let's see.
Yes, indeed. Let's see. For my money, Tibor Valin is narrowing the gap now, and we do have a safety car. So just as Tibor Valin was getting ever closer, I think it might have been that Ernst saw the SC come up on his dashboard just momentarily before Tibor did. So safety car has been called for, and that is for the recovery of this car, the 113 car of Henrik Kamstrup. There is Stefano Guy, who's talking to his driver on the radio, and he'll be talking to Henrik Kamstrup. So this for Tibor Valin, and also, Nico, for Sven Schirmer, will be like a early Christmas present, I would suggest.
Yeah, for Sven Schirmer, no doubt. For Tibor Valin, you can see it both ways. You can think, well, I can attack, but equally they had dispatched of Sven Schirmer, who was 5 seconds or more behind. Now all of a sudden Tibor Valin will be in a sandwich that may take his attention away from attacking. So, you know, you can look at it in different ways, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you can. I think Tibor, from the racing I've seen Tibor and his racecraft, he never seems terribly bothered about what's behind him. So I don't think he's going to be off-put by Sven Schirmer being up his trumpet. That's just my personal belief, but we will see. It could play out differently. Car 189 has picked up a time penalty for track limits. I didn't see that coming, truthfully. So that's an early one for Leon Rindbeek, who picks up a track limits penalty. Track limits, always something of an issue here at this particular circuit. And there are some circuits where track limits are more of an issue than some others. Interestingly, if the track limits are delineated by walls, it becomes less of an issue. But here, where it is a painted line, and the rule, Nico, is that 2 wheels over the painted white line is acceptable. 4 wheels across a painted white line is unacceptable. Live Championship, 86 points for Sven Schirmer. Tibor Valin chasing him on 71. Then it's von Skeltmar 66, Ernst Kirchmayr 60. So there's Andrea Gagliardini, who is Sven Schirmer's driver coach, talking to his driver, probably advising him just how to handle this safety car to be able to maximize his opportunities of getting on terms of the 2 ahead of him. For the Cope Shell-Am Championship, 104 points for Jean Roux, who's got a healthy margin over Shintaro Akatsu and Charles Chan. It's interesting sort of Asia-Pacific colour to the top 3 in the championship for Ferrari Challenge Copa Shell-Am. There is the car of Alexei Komarov, Paolo Scudieri ahead of him. So we stay with the safety car. No word yet when the recovery operation will be completed, but as soon as it is, we will bring that news to you, and then we're going to be able to go back to racing. The clock continues to tick down and count down, of course, during the course of any safety car period, which is what we have right now. So as you can see, it's just over 18 minutes plus 1 lap is the race duration remaining. And yeah, we can see there from that drone shot that the recovery is continuing apace, Nico, but perhaps not a pace as quick as we would like. So there, the Henrik Kamstrup car being recovered to safety. That was the reason for the safety car. And in replay here, let's pick out what happens. Thanks. So Henrik Kamstrup, and I think that was Masaru Yaneda, Nico, making contact, having her coming together. Masaru Yaneda goes around. Well, in actual fact, that's Charles Chan, and then Henrik Kamstrup has to take avoiding action. So it's Masaru Yaneda and Charles Chan that got together.
And that was on the opening lap, so that was before the Henrik Kamstrup incident. So that brings us up to speed what happened right at the beginning of the race.
I was saying I saw Henrik Kamstrup sort of outbrake himself going into turn 5, and I just wonder whether actually he didn't outbrake himself, and maybe he just made a mistake or something, and it had more dire consequences than we expected, because he's out of the race now. Just he parked the car to the side of the track. I don't know. Right, safety car is coming in at the end of this lap, so we will go back to racing at the end of this lap when the safety car comes in, and we can get back to full chat flat in terms of our Shell and Shell Am drivers.
Yeah, and that was a late call. It came just before they crossed the second sector line, which is generally the latest you can do it. And that means all the drivers, they will have minimal time to prepare, because effectively the safety car is already pulled away. And from now on, effectively, Ernst Kirchmeier can put this foot down and lead the cars away.
Look how Sven Schirmer is trying to anticipate. And now Kirchmeier has gone for it. And Thibaut Valent hasn't done a bad job of staying with him, Nico.
No, absolutely. And he is behind him. And now, obviously, at this point, Kirchmeier cannot decelerate, except for the turn, obviously, but he can't lift. And that's where Thibaut Valent has done a really, really good job.
Not quite close enough to have a go into turn 1. And Sven Schirmer's done a good job as well, Nico. So all of a sudden we've got a three-way fight on for this race. Sven Schirmer dives to the inside of Thibaut Valent, but he's not able to carry the same level of momentum through turn 1. That was probably Sven Schirmer's best opportunity gone now.
Well, at least for the time being, as we see everybody's made it through the first sequence of turns and now climbing that small hill.
Famous last words.
Towards that extended hairpin, if you want to call it that.
Is that just behind? You can see there that Jan Sandman was having to go Shintaro Akatsu, and I think he's made it stick. He's gone through on Shintaro Akatsu now. It's an out-of-category battle, but a good overtake there from Jan Sandman. The reason I'm waxing lyrical about famous last words from Nico Spalek about the drivers going through the first sequence of turns with no problems at all, is that comes from the man of a rental car driver that narrowly avoided a power outlet in a southern European country. I'm not going to name which one in case he gets done for it, but
it was we missed it, but
yes, you did miss it.
Let's get back to the script.
Right, Kirchmeier, Valent, Schirmer. So what has happened here is exactly what actually you said could happen, and I said wouldn't. And I think Thibaut Valent has been impacted and affected a bit by Sven Schirmer's attention, and that has allowed Ernst Kirchmeier to get away a little bit more than perhaps he anticipated. So it's Kirchmeier, Valent, Schirmer. We've got 14 minutes plus 1 lap of this Ferrari Challenge Shell and Shell Am race, live from the Portimão circuit here on the Algarve coast. Here's the race-leading car of Ernst Kirchmeier, who has got live gap of just under a second between himself and Thibaut Valent. Then it's Sven Schirmer, Jean Roux, Karl Runefeld, Jan Sandman, Shintaro Akatsu, Eric Chung, von Skeltermar. And then it's Fritz Müller, Paolo Scudieri to round out the top 11 of our Ferrari Challenge Copa Shell and Shell Am drivers. There's von Skeltermar. Skeltermar is chasing down Eric Chung ahead of him. So von Skeltermar, driver of the 177 car now, he picked up a penalty, didn't he, from qualifying, and actually started further down the grid than he would have expected to, having qualified where he did, but that was for potentially, well, not potentially, because race control gave him the penalty. That was for impeding someone during qualifying, Nico.
Indeed, we didn't see it, but certainly race control felt like another driver had been hampered in their qualifying effort, and Fons had been at fault, and also a 2-place grid drop, plus some behavioral points, and we're not going to go too deep into that. Effectively, if you misbehave too many times during a season, you will also get a grid drop, like the accumulation of yellow cards in football.
Also applies to the broadcast team as well. My behavioural points is on the limit. Right, so von Skeltermaar then chasing down Eric Chung, but Ernst Kirkmeyer 9/10 to the good over Tibor Valent, but they have both broken away now a little bit from Sven Schirmer. And a bit like earlier on, Nico, both of these drivers seem to have a pace advantage over Sven Schirmer, and it might just be that the way the cars are set up, it's just absorbing the heat here in Portimão better than Sven Schirmer's car driver combo.
Indeed, and Ernst Kirchmeier with the fastest lap of the race just now, but it was Tibor Valent just a tenth and a bit slower. Once he had been released from Sven Schirmer, he found a little bit more pace, and let's see over the remaining 12 minutes plus a lap how that will evolve and develop. Certainly, Ernst Kirchmeier has a significant lead, but it's not quite significant to feel safe in any regard.
With Kirkmeyer and Valent, P1 and P2, now, in terms of chasing down the points, Sven Schirmer's biggest concern probably is Tibor Valent, but is Sven thinking of the long game here, Nico, and not risking too much and thinking, do you know what, banking points for P3 is better than going hell for leather to try and take away P2 and then bin in the car in an overtake attempt?
Let me think about Sven Schirmer's character as he's proven to be over the last... Sven sorry, if you haven't followed the Ferrari Challenge in too much detail recently, Sven Schirmer is a driver who is P1 or P not good enough in his own mind, and he will always go for the win. Yes, he will think about banking points in a way, but I think there is no level of satisfaction in finishing P3 and just minimizing the deficit.
So just hearing from one of my production advisors that Andrea Gagliardini, who is driver coach to Sven Schirmer, there you can see him in the split screen. He's basically telling Sven Schirmer, keep close enough to Tibor Valent and watch how Tibor handles the final sector, because that's what I want you to do in the race tomorrow. If you can nail the final sector in the same way that Tibor Valent does, we're going to be quicker. There you go. That's from the production hub. Thank you, guys. Franco in particular. Ernst Kirkmeyer, Tibor Valent, Sven Schirmer then. Here's von Skeltermaar as we go back to this battle, Nico, that's going on for P8 in the race overall. And Eric Chung is clean pair of heels being shown to von Skeltermaar, but Skeltermaar is getting closer, and you can see how the gap between P6 and P7 here within class, it's P7 and P8 overall. How, P8, P9 overall, how the gap between the two of them is seesawing a bit. Fons is quicker, 1 lap. Eric responds and puts in a quicker lap. Whilst all that is going on, they have got the threat of Fritz Müller not so far behind, who would like to join into this party as well, Nico. He's sitting in a podium place at the moment, is Fritz Müller. And Paolo Scudieri would like to do something about that, but Paolo's a little bit further down the road. So there is Fritz Müller. You could just see him riding the crest of the roller coaster wave here at the Portimão circuit.
Absolutely. Now, Fritz Müller is in a different class by dint of being an AM driver, but still, he's a racing driver. He wants to elevate himself as high as possible. One small problem for von Skeltermaar. He just on the previous lap picked up track limit warning number 3 as we get a yellow flag. Not sure what that is about yet.
It's at turn 5, I can tell you that, but not having the GPS map on the on our split screen, and we've now got a safety car, Nico. So safety car has been called for whatever the incident is.
And that's through the hairpin, if I remember correctly, turn 5.
You're absolutely right. The elevated hairpin, elongated hairpin, as you so described it. This is the reason why. So that looks like the Louis Peruscia car.
Yes.
The 119 car. So Louis then in strife. There is the 181 machine of Karl Runefeld, who drives the Auto Roper team. So Louis Peruscia, he was with Alvaro Ramos and Charles Chan, Nico. Okay, so safety car is out again. Ernst Kirkmeyer will be cursing his luck, I would think, having dealt with one safety car very well.
Although just on the previous lap, and Tibor Valle, just as the safety car was called for, just put in the fastest lap of the race, so he had reduced the deficit. It does give him a point if it sticks that way till the end of the race, because there is an extra point for the fastest lap.
So I can see that they're pretty quick in recovering the Louis Perugia car. Couldn't see any other car involved in that, Nico. So I think, are they going to be is it going to be a late call for the safety car to come in at the end of this lap? That would be late.
That would be late, but it would also be one of the quickest recoveries in history. So maybe they can do it, but if not, it certainly looks like after this one more, and then we will be going back to racing. That seems pretty much assured. Just to finish the thought, Tibor Valle gets 1 point clawed back to Sven Schirmer. That's going to be valuable potentially come the end of the season.
Yes, absolutely right. Live championship points, here they are. If it were to finish right now, 86 points for Sven Schirmer, 71 points for Tibor Valle. So Tibor's still got work to do by some measure, Nico.
Absolutely, but 15 points is exactly...
Safety car's coming in.
Exactly a race win's worth. So safety car coming in again, late call, and well, that was going to be 6 minutes, 5:45 plus a lap remaining once they hit the timing line.
In the AM Championship, it's altogether a different story, with Jean-Roux very nearly double the points of Shintaro Akatsu, and then Charles Chan running P3 in the points. So that's the Copa Am Live Championship points. Again, if everything were to finish right now as the cars are positioned. Right, the safety car has legged it up the road already, and we get ready to go back racing again. Second time of asking, second safety car. And here we go. Ernst Kirchmeier, Tibor Valle, Sven Schirmer. And look how close Tibor Valle is now. Dives to the inside of Ernst Kirchmeier. Is he going to be able to get the car rotated through the turn? Surely not, no. This could play into the hands of Sven Schirmer. Sven tries to get to the inside, but the door was right royally closed, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely, but he really was vulnerable there for a second. But interestingly, Tibor Valle again on the inside, and I thought that Ernst Kirchmeier would be up the road after that incident, but no, Tibor Valle somehow, some way kept in touch and is trying again. Oh, and he's on the inside, now he's got the line. Or doesn't he?
Well, and Sven Schirmer trying to come through, Tibor Valle very wide. Sven, unfortunately, didn't make that work, and that compromised his position, so it's as we were, Nico. Of course, Sven Schirmer's got no pressure behind him because Jean-Roux is in a different class, a different category. So Tibor Valle, then, we ride on board with. He is trying so hard, and has tried so hard. But Ernst Kirchmeier has kept his cool, Nico, and has said, fine, you have a go wherever you want to have a go. This is my line, and I'm sticking to it, which, of course, is his right to do so. Jean-Roux has dropped down the order, Nico, I can see from the graphics on the left-hand side of the screen. That means Sven Schirmer all of a sudden has got Karl Runefeld, maybe not so far behind him, and Jan Sandman as well. So Schirmer is not going to be quite as aggressive now, because he's going to have to think about looking at the rearview mirror and defending. We run the graphics on the Tibor Valle, the data on the Tibor Valle car, as he picks to nearly 200 kilometers per hour. Absolutely phenomenal, all this information that we're able to bring you in graphics. Hope you enjoy it as much as we enjoy bringing it to you as Tibor Valle crosses the timing line, puts another lap in the book in his quest to get on terms with Ernst Kirchmeier. There is Schirmer, and look, Karl Runefeld is right on Schirmer right now. So how that's going to play out is going to be very interesting to see. Shintaro Akatsu has just set the fastest lap for the AM drivers. Just thought I'd mention that, given he's now got a clear shot at Jean-Roux ahead of him. So Tibor Valle climbing again. He's not close enough to have a go going into turn 5 right now. He tried that last time around, but just could not get the car rotated. Karl Runefeld has got by Sven Schirmer. And that's how he did it. And Sven Schirmer is in strife now. I think that was with Jan Sandman, his nemesis in last year's championship. Sven kept his cool and has brought the car back out onto the tarmac again, distributing quite a lot of gravel in so doing, but nonetheless, he's got it back on the tarmac, so he can try and recover some places, Nico. I'd like to see that again in replay. Meantime, Tibor Valent seems to have lost out and hasn't got the pace that he did have. Here comes that replay then. And thanks, guys. Sven Schirmer carried too much there. And Sandman and Schirmer having a coming together there. Andrea Gagliardini, his driver coach, looking on. And, well, to be fair, Nico, Sven pulled it back out of the gravel and he's continuing, but he's lost a whole heap of places. Now, in fairness, here comes Tibor Valent. What has happened to Ernst Kirchmeier, Nico?
That was really weird.
That was almost like he gave him the place.
Indeed, I don't...
He's slowing. He is slowing, Nico. Here comes Karl Runnefeld. So Runnefeld has gone through. Ernst Kirchmeier, for whatever reason, is in strife here. Look, the car is almost crawling now. The dramas in this Ferrari Challenge race. The incident involving Karl Runnefeld and, Jan Sandman and Sven Schirmer is going to be looked at. It's under investigation, but the big drama here is Ernst Kirchmeier is in strife, Nico.
Absolutely. So things change. We looked at the Live Championship earlier. None of that matters anymore because everybody's in a different position now. And obviously Sven Schirmer, the big loser of that final sequence, as is Ernst Kirchmeier now, who's effectively last in the Copper Shell.
But of course, for Sven Schirmer, if he can keep going, he's going to recover to at least P6, Nico, which is valuable points. There's a time penalty of 25 seconds going to be awarded, I can tell you, because it's come through in my messages. It's going to be awarded to Jan Sandman for causing a collision. So that's going to take Jan Sandman out of his current P3 place and elevate von Skelterman and Eric Chung, and potentially also Sven Schirmer, depending on the time, because we're talking about 25 seconds.
Yeah, we'll look at that as we finish this race, because we only, Tibor Valent is already on the final stretch of the lap, so it's going to be the next one plus one more.
Yes,
so
right.
2 more laps, and we've just seen what happened within the span of 2 laps, so don't go anywhere. This is far from over. As you can see right now, Tibor Valent, that it's Runnefeld, and that it's Skelterman in shell after the 25 seconds have been applied. In the AMs, Jean Rouge, Shintaro Akatsu and Paolo Scudieri finds himself in P3. Didn't see that overtake against Fritz Müller. So Paolo Scudieri, it's been a while since he was on the podium. So
to be fair, there's been so much going on. It's no surprise that we haven't seen all of it because there has been something just about every lap, every turn of every lap. And right now, here is Jan Sandman, who's trying to get by Karl Runnefeld, which is completely academic because Jan Sandman, you can see from the 5 red colour bars against his graphics there, he's picked up that 25-second time penalty. So he's continuing to chase down, even though it's completely futile and academic. So it's going to be Tibor Valent, Karl Runnefeld and von Skelterman. And now, well, don't know quite what happened to Jan there, whether he just carried a little bit too much speed. But Jean Roux went through, and Shintaro Akatsu didn't. So he's got it back pointing in the right direction again. It was always pointing in the right direction, but just lost seemingly momentum for a moment. He just outbraked himself, truthfully. And Paolo Scudieri and Fritz Müller are having something of a ding-dong here, because Fritz Müller is now ahead of Paolo Scudieri, I believe. Or is that Eric Chung? I beg your pardon, that is Eric Chung. Fritz Müller is right behind. I mean, the cars are almost identical, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry for cutting across you.
No, you're right too.
And you can see that Paolo Scudieri is putting the pressure on Eric Chung.
Yes, he is.
Eric Chung, obviously already a race winner this season, finds himself with unfamiliar company, I dare say. It's a testament to this race, and it's in the final lap as Tibor Valent tries to fend off fate almost of this race, which has befallen every race leader, and pretty much everybody else.
It has been a remarkable race. Tibor Valent from Karl Runnefeld. Then on track it is going to be Jan Sandman as P3 in class, but he's got that huge penalty, so it's going to be von Skelterman that inherits the final podium place for the Shell drivers if everything stays the way it is right now. It'll be Jean Rouge, Shintaro Akatsu and Fritz Muller then has somehow, Paolo Scudieri's lost out. So Paolo Scudieri's dropped down the order, Nico. He had got by. And Fritz Muller now and Leon Rinberger both get by Paolo Scudieri. Leon Rinberger's got a 5-second time penalty to come, but obviously something happened to Paolo Scudieri that we didn't see. So he's dropped down again. So for Tibor Valent, though, in his chase to Sven Schirmer in terms of the Drivers' Championship, he keeps his championship aspirations very much alive. And Tibor Valent, he's had to deal with all sorts of dramas that have been thrown towards him during the course of this Ferrari Challenge Copa-Shell and Copa-Shell Am race. So we have another yellow flag at turn 5. Someone's outbraked themselves. I think it might be Paolo Scudieri as the checkered flag falls to Tibor Valent, who takes the Ferrari Challenge Copa-Shell victory from Karl Runefeld. John Roux wins in Copa-Shell Am ahead of Shintaro Akatsu. It's going to be Fons Skelterman that takes the final Shell podium place. And then it will be Fritz Muller who is on the podium for the Shell Am drivers for P3. So it's Valent, Runefeld and Skelterman, and it's Roux, Akatsu and Muller. Wow, what a remarkable Ferrari Challenge race that was, Nico.
Absolutely, and you often say safety cars breed safety cars. Today the second safety car bred a lot of action all up and down the field, and wow, that was something. And I mean, we could talk about specific instances until tonight. Jean Roux, proper credit to him. He has not made a mistake all season long, and he continues his quest. And dare I say, at the pace that he's in, it certainly doesn't look like the championship in the AMS is going to go all the way to Barcelona. There is Paolo Scudieri. Unfortunately, he was in a podium position just minutes ago, and finds himself on the side of the road, unfortunately. Can't make out if there was any contact or something like that. Certainly, and most importantly, obviously, Paolo is perfectly okay. He will also finish in the points by virtue of the distance that he covered. Not the points that he hoped for, and certainly not the podium position, but wow. A race of attrition almost.
Yeah, but it just proves the point that, you know, just when you think that you can identify the pattern of the race and how it's going to go, actually, you jolly well can't, Nico. You jolly well can't.
No, absolutely. And to answer a question you raised at the beginning of the program, Tibor Valent's first season in the Ferrari Challenge was in 2009.
Thank you.
In fairness, there was a long break in between, but it was when we started in this championship, there was Tibor Valent, and he is on the top step of the podium. Well, he will be in but a few moments, but he's in Parc Fermé, kissing the P1 board.
Hopefully we'll see Bence, his son, in there. Have I seen Bence today? Not sure I have. Perhaps he was only here over the tests and practices, and maybe he's out doing his own thing this weekend. I don't know. Haven't seen him today. So he is congratulated by the team, and you got to be in it to win it, haven't you, Nico? And he stayed in it when he needed to. If that makes any sense, which possibly it doesn't. Yeah, and Karl Runefeld's pretty happy, and rightly so. It was quite a race indeed. There's the congratulations for the Outer Roper driver, and Sean Hudspeth making a congratulations there to Karl Runefeld.
There is Jean Roux, a familiar place in Parc Fermé.
He has P1 revolution, hasn't he? Revelation, not a revolution. Revelation.
Both potentially.
Well, possibly so. Yeah, possibly so. Yeah, what a testament to our Asian Pacific drivers, John Roux, Shintaro Akatsu, and they're both doing extremely well in the championship. So here's the confirmation of the classification then for Tibor Valint taking the win for our Shell drivers, John Roux taking the win for our M drivers. And then it was Karl Runefeld and Shintaro Katsu, von Skeltermar, Eric Chung, Fritz Muller and Leon Rinbeek, ahead of Sven Schirmer, Alexei Komarov, Alvaro Ramos, Jan Sandman, following the time penalty, then Paolo Scudieri, Charles Chan and Ernst Kirchmeier then. And NC is not classified, so rolled out for Louis Peruskia, Henrik Kamstrup and Masaru Yoneda. And that is turn 5, and the VIP suites behind turn 5, you can see there. So here comes the Rosso Corsa 132 car driven by Tibor Valint, and we're going to be hearing from him in due course. I'm sure Ludovica will have sprinted like a gazelle up the pit lane to get hold of our race winners in both categories. So we'll be hearing from Tibor Valint and John Roux, we think. But that is the Shell race-winning car of 132. Here's Tibor Valint now.
Tibor, congratulations, as your Italian team said a few seconds ago. Bravo, Tibor. So I want to discover with you your feeling to be here today, and so you can tell more about your race.
Okay, it was a nice race, but the weather was very, very hot today. It was a little bit difficult. I think I was enough fast, but I just went in the second position. I'm fighting in the first with Ernst. And I think he has a technical problem end of the race, and I can overtake him and win on the race.
Thank you.
Thank you much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ludovica, for getting hold of Tibor Valint. And sure enough, he was almost resolute that he was going to stay in second place, Nico, because, you know, it took the problem for Ernst would be the only way that he was able to overtake, and I think, to be fair, he kind of said that, didn't he? We're looking at the Kessel Racing 108 car of Jean Roux, who will be next into the target sights of Ludovica, and we'll be hearing from Jean Roux on yet another victory for our Shell Am driver.
Jean, congratulations. What a super day for you here in Portugal. Here is Fons, super good fair play here. And I want to discover with you your feeling and how did you build this race with your team?
It was a difficult condition, especially coming from Le Mans. We struggled in the beginning with the setup, but in the end, always Kessel Racing has found the perfect setup for me. Very easy to drive, and I enjoyed the race. I was looking forward to this track the most out of the calendar. And everyone says roller coaster. My body is actually sore everywhere because of G-force, but I enjoy it very much.
Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
What a fantastic articulation of that. Ferrari Challenge Copa Shell, race 1 of the weekend in the Algarve, underway. Let's go racing. Ernst Kirchmeier, Tibor Valint then right at the front of the pack as it roars, and they roar into turn 1. Jan Sandman trying to make hay while the sun shines, and the sun seemingly always shining here in Portugal, but great start from Ernst Kirchmeier, is able to get up the road and strive for Masaru Yoneda and Charles Chan. Tibor Valint having a real go here on Ernst Kirchmeier, but not able to get the car rotated, almost losing out to Sven Schirmer as well. And let's have another go from Tibor Valint. And again, not able to get the car rotated. Sven Schirmer in strife as well, almost losing out. Paolo Scudieri's having great fun overtaking Fritz Muller, and is able to close the door and has made that stick. So Paolo Scudieri 1 place up the road, Sven Schirmer running wide, and Jan Sandman and Sven Schirmer coming together. Sven Schirmer's in the gravel, able to recover from there though, and strive for Ernst Kirchmeier as Tibor Valint goes through. The Copa Shell race that was being led by Ernst Kirchmeier is won by Tibor Valint. And for Jean Roux, it's victory in the Shell Am category.
The podium, first race.
Michele Mabelli then bringing the drivers out on the podium for the first podium of our weekend here in Portugal.
Race Third on the podium, Von Skelterma.
Taking P3 for Kessel Racing. Here comes Von Skelterma.
Second driver on the podium, Karl Rannefeld.
Here comes Karl Rannefeld to take P2.
And the winner is Tibor Valin.
On the top step of the podium, Tibor Valin then.
On the podium, Team Rosso Corsa. National anthem. Claps, claps, claps.
Claps,
All
claps,
the people
claps,
on
says
the grandstands. Claps for the winners, and the trophy are presented by Miguel Molina.
Miguel Molina
official
then.
Ferrari driver, Ferrari factory driver.
Ferrari
The
factory
trophy
driver
for
making the
Von
trophy presentation for P3 to
Skelterma.
Von Skelterma.
Lo Squalo.
Up next, it
Second,
will be Karl Rannefeld
trophy
for
Karl
Autoropa
Rannefeld,
Racing in
Miguel
receipt
Molina.
of that P2 trophy. And then on the top step of the
And the
podium for our
winner,
Ferrari Challenge
Miguel
Copa Shell
Molina
drivers, it's Tibor
versus,
Valin then,
Tibor Valin,
who has yet another race winner's trophy to add to his fair collection, it has to be
And
said,
the
of
trophy
race winning
for team
trophies that he
manager
has.
Rosso Corsa.
And Rosso Corsa in
For
receipt of
your
the Copa
work,
Team
guys.
trophy too.
And then all drivers, Miguel
So,
and team manager on
Let's
the podium.
get everyone together then. It's
Please,
like
all
herding sheep
drivers and
now.
the guys on the
Photographs.
podium. And,
Michele
all
does his level
driver and
best in
team
terms
manager,
of making
please
sure all the
lift
drivers
your
and everyone
trophy,
goes
up
where they
your
need to
trophy.
go for the
Lift
trophy.
your trophy. Okay. Lift your trophy.
Lift your
okay.
trophy. Come on, Tibor. Thank you.
Photos and image from Portimão circuit.
And you watch
Thank you for your
Miguel
claps,
go
guys.
like
Now,
crazy
wait
when
a
he knows.
second, and now champagne.
I think it's Tibor that won that race as well. Shaded it over Von Skelterma.
Yeah, just... Let's switch it.
Taking P3 then for Kessel Racing, Von Skelterma back on the podium, deservedly so. Well done, Fons. It's P2 for Autoropa Racing and Karl Rannefeld, driver of the 181 car that took that P2 place. Just finished the season, if memory serves me. Well done, Karl. However, for Tibor Valint, driver of the Rosso Corsa 132, it was his third win of the season and his fifth podium. Well done, Tibor. Still chasing Sven Schirmer in the Drivers' Championship points. Talking of which, look how close it is at the top now. Sven Schirmer ahead of Tibor Valint by only 7 points. Von Skelterma, there's 8 points in it before Eric Chung, a further number of points down the order. So, very exciting as we're reaching the critical point of the season, I would suggest, with 5 more races to go. Thank you very much, Nick, for helping me out there just when I was trying to calculate it. 5 more races still to come in the championship, so a lot can happen, and doubtless will in the Ferrari Challenge. We have a Shell Am podium still to come, and indeed, here it comes with Fritz Muller making his way to P3 on the podium. Here comes Shintaro Akatsu, he takes P2.
And the win is Jean Ryu from Korea.
And here comes Jean Ryu.
Kessel Racing, team manager on the podium. And now national anthem.
Here comes the national anthem.
Our claps for the winner, and the trophy are presented by Miguel Molina.
Here comes
Ferrari
Miguel once
factory
again to make the trophy presentations. First of all to Fritz Müller, who takes P3.
And the trophy for the second driver, Shintaro Akatsu, Miguel
Shintaro
Molina.
Akatsu takes P2. Ferrari factory driver
And the
Miguel
big
Molina, top
trophy
geezer,
for the
joining us on the
winner.
air tomorrow. Looking forward to
The
that very
winner
much. We
is,
always have
Jean
a
Rio.
lot of fun on the air. Known Miguel for a lot of years.
And the trophy
Jean Rio
for
then
Equipe
receives
Castle
his
Racing,
race-winning
team
trophy.
Manager, Castle Racing, Miguel Molina.
And Kessel, of
Now,
course, in receipt of the Copa Team
Please,
trophy.
all on the podium.
And here we go
Team
to
manager
herding those
Miguel
drivers
on
once
the
again for
podium,
the
all
photographs.
drivers
This
on
never
the first
seems to
step.
go as
And for
quite
the
as
driver,
straightforward as we would
please,
like.
Up your trophy.
Up your
Lift
trophy. Up.
drivers.
Up your trophy. Lift up your trophy is what Michele means. No one takes any notice. They
Okay. Please lift your trophy.
Lift
okay.
it, that's it.
Up
He
your
was listening to
trophy.
me.
Okay, photo for you.
Shintaro
And
Akatsu,
now,
full of
3,
enthusiasm.
2,
Who's going to be the first with
1,
the champers?
Champagne!
I think it was our race winner, Jean Roux, who shaded it. Great celebrations on the podium. And here are the cars that delivered the podium results for their respective drivers. For Go Motorsport and Engstler, Fritz Müller takes P3. For Ainiko, Rapato Corsa Ram, Shintaro Akatsu, P2. And for Kessel Racing, the 108 car, piloted by Jean Roux, is the race-winning car. And therefore, we saw the driver, Jean Roux, on the top step of the podium, the driver of this yellow and black Hornet. I'm taking the mickey out of my colleague alongside me, who says a yellow and black car reminds him of a Hornet. Okay. Well, Ferrari Challenge Copa Shell and Copa Shell Am once again certainly didn't disappoint in terms of the race action stakes. And let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship. It's altogether more going in Jean Roux's direction. Shintaro Akatsu, though, is up to P2 and has usurped Charles Chan right now. So it's not all over yet, but Jean Roux is in a very comfortable position, certainly more comfortable at the top of that Drivers' Championship than in the respective Copa Shell Championship, which is currently being led by Sven Sherman. So there we have it. Brilliant Copa Shell and Copa Shell Am race. Really, really enjoyable. And we have a Trofeo Pirelli and Trofeo Pirelli Am race to come next from Nico and from myself. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the next race from the Ferrari Challenge. Bye-bye for now. everyone. Very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the Algarve coast and the beautiful circuit of Portimão here. Race one for our Ferrari Challenge Trophy of Pirelli and Pirelli AM drivers, which will take place over 30 minutes plus one lap of this extraordinary circuit here, the International Circuit Algarve. There's our formal welcome then to Portimão, and a first look at the tarmac here, which is undulating, I have to say. It's something of a roller coaster, this circuit, and it is round 5 of our 7-round 2026 calendar. We've been to Le Castellet, to Mugello, to Spielberg, to Le Mans, where we supported the Le Mans 24-hour race, and from here we head off to Budapest and then Barcelona. And Barcelona is round 7, features the final 2 races of the Ferrari Challenge for the 2026 championship, but then of course also the world final races, the Finale Mondiale event. Track temperature is currently 37 degrees, the air temperature is 28 degrees, there's about 24 kilometers per hour of wind. As you can see, the turbines rotating nicely, almost symmetrically in the background to that shot. So we have a mix of Pirelli and Pirelli AM drivers. Now, the Pirelli drivers have a red strip across the top of the windscreen. The AM drivers have a white strip across the top of the windscreen. And Sergio Paulet for the Ineco Reparto Corsa Ram team did a great job in qualifying and has put the car on pole position for Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli. And irrespective of what category you're in, how you finish overall in qualifying is how you start the race overall. So Michael Verhagen, despite the fact he was P1 within class, he starts P2 overall and qualified P2 overall, and therefore is going from P2 on the grid, but it's actually took P1 in class. Here's Niklas Abrahamsson, who did a great job, and he qualified P2, Nico, but he is actually on the second row of the grid again, because we mix up the categories in terms of it's the overall finish in qualifying that determines the grid positions. Here is Michael Verhagen then, who provided something of an entertaining moment in qualifying, and it was coming off the final turn here, turn 13, where he certainly smoked that car, well, the tyres, into a donut, and still went on to, do another couple of laps in qualifying. Absolutely extraordinary. Did a fantastic job, Michael Verhagen, who is leading in the Pirelli AM points, and no surprises there. Doing a great job. So as our camera makes its way down, there's the car of Max Mugelli to the right-hand side of your picture there. Max Mugelli, driver of the number 3 car, looked after by Tina, and there is Sandro, who is driver of our safety car, talking to Miguel Molina, of course Ferrari factory driver, who will be joining us on the air tomorrow. Miguel, driver in hypercar, of course, and the Richard Mills safety car ready to lead the cars away. Always a rolling start formation lap for our Ferrari Challenge races. So 2026 calendar has been brilliant. Wait until you see the 2027 calendar.
Okay.
a phenomenal calendar for 2027, going to some remarkable circuits, including Spa-Francorchamps, including Valencia, including Misano, Mugello, and, sorry, you'd expect me to be enthused, Donington Park.
Well, it's a first for the Ferrari Challenge Europe, certainly. I don't remember us ever going to Donington. We've been to Silverstone before, but Donington we expect to be a double round with the UK Challenge. That calendar is going to be released next week, but I think that's an intriguing one.
Oh, it is, and actually, the Donington Park circuit, for my money, is a great circuit, and the drivers will love it. Absolutely love it. Right, there's the number 44 car, which is driven by Nobuhiro Imada, who does a lot of racing and is one to be reckoned with. Driver of the number 3 car is Max Mugelli, also a driver to be reckoned with. And the CDP Eureka competition driver, Max Mugelli. See all the scrutineering stickers on the door pillar there. And I have to say the Formula Racing driver, Nicholas Abrahamsen, has joined us in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli this weekend. Did a very, very good job in qualifying. He's qualified P2 in Pirelli, P4 in overall. So a good job done by Nicholas. And he's driving for the Formula Racing team. As we take a look at the Quadis gallery car there. Beautiful looking 296 Challenge car. And that being driven by Ruben Fernandez-Gil, also making his debut in the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli this weekend. Very welcome addition to the Ferrari Challenge. So I was waxing lyrical about Nicholas Abrahamsen then for Formula Racing, who's done a good job in qualifying, putting it P2 in class. Let's hear from him now.
It's like a dream come true for me. I really wanted to be A, but I was always thinking that it was going to be so surreal to even come to this point. This track is like a roller coaster. It's up and down, the blind corners, you never know what's going on. So you just have to hope and be sure that the light is working. This track is so fun. I don't really have any expectations wrestle-wise, but I have expectation that I can be a safe and also consistent driver who can really show my potential to be hopefully a future pro driver. For me, Ferrari is like a religion. I never imagined to be a part of it. It's like a dream.
Just want to mention, the last time there was a Nicholas in a Formula Racing Ferrari Challenge car, he did really rather well, and look at him now. He is a Ferrari factory driver. Just saying.
Le Mans winner, overall winner in the hypercar too. Yeah, Nicholas Niels. There is the Algarve International Circuit in 3D animation. It belies the undulating nature of the circuit.
So we are just literally moments away, one formation lap away from the start of this Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am race. Richard Mills' safety car has left its spot on the grid, and the cars all make their way up now to start their formation lap. We ride on board with the Richard Mills safety car, and here is the grid in full. Herbert Guys then out of position, Nico, going from the 7th row of the grid. Otto Blank and Jason McCarthy. A warm welcome to Jason McCarthy from Wide World Ferrari. Thomas Nunes Franco and Ruben Fernandez-Gil both making their debut in the Ferrari Challenge. Juha Turalba and Danilo Dal Favro on the next row, ahead and behind Max Mugelli and Nobuhiro Imada. Nicholas Abrahamson, who we heard from a few moments ago. Giacomo Ronaldo, second row of the grid, but on the front row of the grid. The first row, Michael Verhagen, pole position for the AM drivers. Sergio Paulet, pole position for the Pirelli drivers. So Sergio Paulet, who's had a number of wins this season. Let's hear from him now.
So very happy, finally again another pole position. It was a long time since the last one, so I'm very happy. I was not expecting this one because yesterday we were struggling a little bit. And for the race, I have just to manage the race. Yesterday we have some problems, some issues with one piece of the rear that was broken sometimes. So we fixed this today, and probably this afternoon I have to manage this race to be chill and try to get the P1 and still get the points for the championship.
Thank you, Sergio Paulet, then, who goes from pole position for our Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli drivers. And the Richard Mills safety car then, as the cars there line up side by side in grid formation. Now the rule is with the formation lap, the drivers have to pass through their grid boxes on the start-finish straight, and if they don't do that, the start might be investigated. But right now, the cars will line up side by side in grid formation. Sergio Paulet then and Michael Verhagen, the two pole sitters, they're side by side on the front row of the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli AM grid, and both of them then just jostling for position. So they are racing in different categories. I remind you, Pirelli drivers with the red strip across the top of the windscreen, Pirelli AM drivers with the white strip across the top of the windscreen. We put 30 minutes plus 1 lap on the clock. We see the Richard Mills safety car peel off into the pit lane. Hold on to your hats. Let's get ready to rumble. Here comes race 1 in Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli AM here from the Portimão circuit. Lighting gantry, you can see all red lights, lights out. Let's go racing. Great start from Sergio Paulet. Good start from Nobuhiro Imada on the right, very left-hand side of your screen here. Just keep an eye on Nobuhiro Imada trying to go through. But from our two pole sitters, it was a good start. And they are P1 and P2 in the race overall. P1 in each of the categories of Pirelli and Pirelli AM. So all cars through the first sequence of turns. Fingers crossed as they head down towards turn 5 right now, which is the elongated hairpin here. And side by side, you can see these two cars go. The number 17 and number 9 cars of Danilo Del Favro and Nicholas Abrahamson. Again, Danilo Del Favro is a Pirelli AM driver. Nicholas Abrahamson is a Pirelli driver. And Nico, all drivers got away relatively cleanly there.
Yes, everything looks clean, and also no indication from race control that they were unhappy with the start. They will look at some camera angles and replays, but for the time being, no reason for concern. Sergio Paulet has extended his lead, and Danilo Del Favro is dropping down a little bit, or is defending rather, as Joao Tobala was trying to make a move on, and that now leaves him vulnerable to the number 12 car of Fernandez Gil. So obviously now where everybody is so bunched up, you know, you put one wheel roll or you try an ambitious move, and all of a sudden you find yourself prey of the driver behind you.
So a number of new drivers making their debut in the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli, and just to make it difficult for me, quite deliberately, a number of drivers with different liveries for this particular weekend as well. So Danilo Del Favro is one of them, driving certainly different colour car to what we've been used to seeing with Danilo Del Favro, who's right centre shot now, being chased by Nicholas Abrahamson and Juha Turalba. Nicholas Abrahamson ahead of Danilo Del Favro. Juha Turalba doing the chasing right now, and Fernandez Gil also involved in that, and Jason McCarthy too. Jason McCarthy, who has moved up 2 places from the start of the race, and I have to say I've had the privilege of talking about Jason McCarthy in the Ferrari Challenge North America series, where he's been so very good over a number of years, and good to see him here racing in Europe. In replay, here is the start. So generally speaking, I think everybody getting away nicely. And Nobuhiro Amada was really determined to get to the inside, but in the end just didn't quite have enough to be able to take it to Giacomo Ronaldo, who's running in that P3 place overall in the race. Nobuhiro Amada having to settle for P4. See it from the Michael Verhagen perspective here as we ride on board with Michael Verhagen. And Sergio Paulet going through turn 1 and turn 2 ahead of Michael Verhagen. So that the race start and replay. And there is the Michael Verhagen car then still chasing Sergio Paulet. Paulet has only been able to put some 7.5 tenths on Michael Verhagen, who's done about the same over Giacomo Ronaldo.
Pretty much, yes. As they complete lap number 2, let's see what the split seconds are. Well, Verhagen actually got a little bit closer and put the fastest lap of the race overall in the record books.
Michael is a absolutely, totally committed, 101% driver, Nico, as we saw in qualifying. You know, he puts everything on the line, and really, so I'm not surprised that he set fastest lap overall and in class as well, which is what the 2 purple indicators with this little stopwatch are on the graphics on the left-hand side of the screen. Sergio Paulet and Michael Verhagen. That was a missed braking opportunity, I'm afraid to say, Nico. The way I saw that, and unfortunately that has taken a couple of cars right out of the race. So I just think it was a braking point missed.
Yeah, and as you say, that was billiards after that, and that is the number 12 car.
It was billiards.
Fernandez Gil, and he was then catapulted into the car in front of him.
Let's see it from on board. That, I'm sorry to say, was a plain mistake.
Yeah, I think what played a role in that, it was a mistake. The aggregate slipstream of 2 cars.
Yeah.
And you could see, you could sense, and you could hear the braking being applied.
Yeah.
But it was just the extra momentum wasn't good enough when there was the combined slipstream of the 2 cars. Yeah, I mean, with more experience, maybe you nail that, but it was an extraordinary circumstances. So obviously no malice whatsoever. It's just one of those things that happens, and everybody would like to have back. But unfortunately, that has taken quite a few cars out of this race. Now, safety car obviously will be needed for a number of laps, as this is all being the track is cleared and everything is back to safety. Now, obviously, the integral safety of the 296 challenge means that we're not really worried about the driver health after that incident. It was always good to see the drivers out of the car, but that was initially looked like a very hefty incident.
I was just going to say to you, but the graphics on the left-hand side of the screen have answered the question. I didn't think Herbert Guys started the race, and actually, just a few moments ago, on the graphics on the left-hand side of the screen, it said Herbert Guys did not start. So we've lost Juha Turalba and Rubens Fernandez Gil, and that, regrettably, is Jason McCarthy, I think, who will be out of the race. Yeah, it is Jason. For Wide World Ferrari. Jason, a hugely experienced Ferrari Challenge driver. He'll be very, very disappointed. He's out of that race. So, yeah, there we have it. Nico, how many times do we say this? The sport you and I love so much is beautiful, but just on occasions it can be absolutely brutal too. Yeah, that's what makes it so attractive. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's the unpredictable nature. Obviously, in this case, when you're absolutely an innocent bystander and you're just taken out by the misfortune or a mishap of someone behind you, you're not at fault, but that doesn't put you back in the race. There is just no recovering after that. So, yeah, unfortunate for Fernandez Gil and the other drivers impacted by that incident, but there is another car. Oh, that's the safety car. Sorry. Looked like another car was there, but that was the safety car.
Yeah.
Picking up our leaders here, Sergio Paulet.
Now, the recovery team here at Portimão have been pretty quick, to be fair.
Impressively.
Yeah, they have got a bit of work to do with this one, to be fair. It might take a little bit longer than we've been used to in the previous race, but the incident involving cars 10, 12 and 88 in turn 5 is under investigation, and yeah, I'm not surprised by that. And there you can see the bottom of the picture. I think the recovery is almost done already, Nico, so credit to our recovery team here at Portimão, working really, really hard now. There, the number 75 car of Giacomo Rinaldo, who'll be fancying his chances, potentially having a pop at Michael Verhagen for the lead of the Pirelli Am race when the safety car comes in.
I'm sure he will fancy his chances. Michael Verhagen, as we've said and as we've seen, is a feisty racer, very determined about going about his racecraft. In qualifying, he did check a few entertainment boxes. He's not known to do that during the race.
His buddy Bartosz is here this weekend as well, and I bumped into him when I was doing my tour of the pit lane earlier on, and yeah, great to see him here. So, Powlett, Verhagen, Ronaldo, Imada, Abrahamsen. Top 5 then, the mix of Pirelli and Pirelli Am drivers. Can see that we get a load of pictures thrown into us, not literally, but fed into us, perhaps would be better, into our studio here, and you can see that Giacomo Altoe, who has a driver coaching role, is here this weekend as well. Former Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli champion. Similar hairstyle to myself. Great guy, great driver. That's where the similarities between us end, I'm sorry to say, is with hairstyles, Nico, because he can pedal a car a sight better than I can.
Fair enough, which I think
there he is. Thank you, Franco. There is Giacomo Altoe. Now you can see the similarities between the hairstyles.
I think Giacomo Altoe, in fairness to you and everybody else, can pedal a car better than pretty much the whole of humanity, with maybe a few very select people exempt from that list. But yeah, he is advising and he is sharing his knowledge. As we're about 10 minutes into this race, and
just
as
imagining me and Giacomo together on a grid.
Yeah, again, you do
Giacomo would need to be on a pedal bike.
Well, you doing the interviews and he's the
Yes,
driver.
yes.
I can well imagine that. As you saw, we started another race a lap behind the safety car, but I do assume that at the end of this lap, we have a chance of the race getting underway again.
There's Sven Schirmer and Sven's wife, Farnes, there. Inside the garages. Great camaraderie amongst the Ferrari Challenge drivers, Nico, where drivers from other classes watch on and see what's happening. Safety car coming in this lap. Well predicted, friend. So we're going to have, by the time the safety car has come in, 18 minutes, 17 minutes of racing, plus 1 lap. And it's like a restart. We try and give you maximum value here with the Ferrari Challenge. And now you can see Sergio Paula backing him up, Nico. I mean, really aggressively backing him up. He was almost stationary. And Michael Verhagen weaving from side to side. So too Giacomo Ronaldo and Nobuhiro Amada and Niklas Abrahamsen. When will Sergio Paula decide to give it maximum crank? Now, I think he's cranked it.
Yeah, already before the chicane here at the top of the hill, so that's very, very early. But Michael Verhagen has kind of anticipated that quite well. Let's see if the other drivers have done the same.
Oh, Nobuhiro Amada certainly has. He's right on the tail of Giacomo Ronaldo. Nobuhiro Amada could have a go going into turn 1, Nico. He's that close, in my opinion, as we go past the Farrier speed camera. Let's go back to racing again. Nobuhiro Amada perhaps not quite close enough, but I tell you what, he had worried Giacomo Ronaldo just for a moment. So Sergio Paula gets it underway with Michael Verhagen running P2. Then it's Giacomo Ronaldo, Nobuhiro Amada, Niklas Abrahamsen, Danilo Del Favro, Max Mugelli. Then it is Nunes and Otto Blank running P8 and P9. So Sergio as we're into turn 5 once again. Under a bit of pressure now. Nobuhiro Amada from Niklas Abrahamsson. New driver into the Ferrari Challenge, a young whippersnapper driving for Formula Racing in the number 17 car. We heard from him at the start of the program. Absolutely determined to be clean and tidy. We're just hearing from race control that the safety car period is under investigation. Nico, you're something of an oracle. What does that mean as Niklas Abrahamsson just taking a look at the inside of Nobuhiro Amada? That would have been an unorthodox overtake if ever there'd been one. But he dialed out of that and realising that that wasn't going to be a safe place to try and put a move on. What does it mean when the safety car period is under investigation? Because surely the safety car period is the safety car period, is it not?
Yeah, I think what that most likely or most frequently refers to is someone not adhering to the rules that are specific to the safety car period, whether that means overtaking at the restart or not slowing down initially, or overtaking under the safety car generally has different wording to it, but it's one of those things generally that race control feels warrants another look.
At this, virtually welded together, Niklas Abrahamsson and Nobuhiro Amada. Abrahamsson, is he going to be able to get the car rotated sideways? Nobuhiro Amada did a very good job to avoid making contact there, as they are absolutely side by side here. Nobuhiro Amada and Niklas Abrahamsson. They are not even in the same class, Nico, but what a race going on between this Trofeo Pirelli Am and Pirelli driver, as I think after quite a few turns, Niklas Abrahamsson has done it. He set it up hard, but has made it stick in the end. Well done, Niklas.
Good move, obviously, here. Pirelli driver, as you say, they're not in the same class, but good and fair driving. I thought there was a little bit of contact right there.
Which really couldn't have been avoided, could it?
No, but good and respectful driving throughout that entire sequence, and good to see both drivers emerging from that sideways moment in one piece, or their cars rather.
I could see, again from our feed, Tor Qualman, who is the boss of Formula Racing, looking on as Niklas Abrahamsson. Then there was a big smile across Tor's face as he made his feelings known through facial expressions on the overtake from Niklas Abrahamsson, then on Nobuhiro Amada. Sergio Paolo stretching his legs to the tune of 2.3 seconds over Michael Verhagen, who in turn has got only 8 tenths between himself and Giacomo Rinaldo. So the lead in the Pirelli Am race is not all but settled yet, is it?
No, and Rinaldo, the last lap, took 7 tenths out of Michael Verhagen's time, and that means there was only 3 tenths remaining. So that battle, which for a moment looked like Verhagen had gapped Rinaldo significantly, that it's coming back to him, and there you can see that if there ever was a need for illustration, it's right there.
Yeah.
And just to throw something more into that, right behind them is Abrahamsson, who's a Pirelli driver who wants to overtake, and that will figure into this battle.
There is Bartosz, who I was talking about just a few moments ago, with Tor Qualman, who is tall, 7 foot tall, who is team boss of Formula Racing and former racing driver himself. They were watching on then as Michael Verhagen, very much, of course, driving for Ferrari Warsaw, and Michael Verhagen under the auspices of Giacomo Rinaldo, who is pressuring him, and it's becoming a 3-way fight here, Nico, because Niklas Abrahamsson is right on these two now. And we've already seen how he is prepared to go for it in terms of getting past Nobuhiro Amada. Look how close he is now to Giacomo Rinaldo. We can see this from being on board with Michael Verhagen. Here comes Niklas Abrahamsson, just taking a look at Giacomo Rinaldo. The back end of Giacomo's car looking a little bit loose. Is that going to play into the hands of Niklas Abrahamsson? Abrahamsson goes from left to right. He's all over the back of Giacomo Rinaldo's car, trying to find a way by him. 12 3/4 minutes of this race remain, plus 1 lap. Very, very enjoyable to watch here. There's Nobuhiro Amada, who Abrahamsson got past just a few laps ago, and now he's got very much Giacomo Rinaldo in his target sights, who in turn, he's right the meat in this sandwich, Nico, because he's trying to attack Michael Verhagen, but knows that he will leave himself vulnerable to Abrahamsen, which isn't a problem in terms of category. That was a bold move there by Abrahamsen, but I rather think Ronaldo let him take it. He didn't defend that too steadfastly because it would have been a futile and pointless.
Yeah, I think once Abrahamsen had found the inside line, that was clear for Ronaldo. Okay, I'm not going to battle. I will hug the slipstream and try to be pulled towards and ideally past Michael Verhagen. Let's see how that part of the plan works out.
So Michael Verhagen now has got the benefit of a Pirelli driver between himself and Giacomo Ronaldo, hasn't he? To act as something of a comfort cushion. However, we've just seen the prowess of Nicholas Abrahamsen, who I have to say, Nico, is leaving a very, very lasting impression of positivity on me. Doing a great job in the Ferrari Challenge, and where once we would have said that is definitely not an overtaking opportunity. To heck with what you think, Dave. I'm going to prove you wrong. And there he does it all over again, Nico. Again, Verhagen didn't steadfastly defend that because, again, it would be futile. It was a non-category battle, but that, of course, Verhagen now becomes ever more vulnerable to Giacomo Ronaldo, Nico.
Yeah, Michael Verhagen probably would have liked to emerge from that double overtake with a little bit more of a gap. Didn't work, and that puts that battle right center screen. Sergio Paulet now has a Pirelli driver behind him, but he also has 5.9 seconds of an advantage. With
he was checking his emails, but he's realised now that he needs to get up the road a bit.
Just a little. 10 minutes and 30 seconds plus a lap remaining, so probably the better part of 7 laps or so. Sergio Paulet not under immediate threat, but we've seen, and just in the previous race, how things can evolve and change within the matter of just a few moments.
Indeed so. And look at the gap. As Giacomo Ronaldo has got by Michael Verhagen, we didn't see that live. And now Nobuhiro Imada is chasing Michael Verhagen as well. Now, Nico, you and I both know that in qualifying, and we were commenting on it, Michael took a lot of tyres out of his car, and I just wonder whether Giacomo Ronaldo, who was altogether smoother during qualifying, may just be finding, as we're sort of closing stages of this race, well, not closing stages, but final third of this race, that the grip being afforded, well, certainly because Verhagen is losing out now to Nobuhiro Imada as well. So that might not be the reason, but it's just one of what it could be. And Danilo Del Favaro is right on Michael Verhagen's tail as well.
Yeah, I think we don't know for sure, but that's a very solid working theory, and it would just make sense.
Just I'm looking at that. I'm looking at the back left-hand corner. That looks lower, Nico.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It may just be the shot, but certainly Michael Verhagen has, and even before the Abrahamsen overtake came, he lost 10th after 10th, so certainly looks like maybe a slow puncture based on that very pirouette you already mentioned at the beginning of the program. Well, Michael Verhagen, as you just saw on the live championship, he certainly wants to salvage every single point he can, because even with the lower position than he was just a few moments ago, he still is a very, very strong contender, and he knows that every point that he can gain is gonna potentially matter come the end of the season.
Danilo Del Favaro is the all-black car that we can see from being on board with Michael Verhagen. Michael is having to wrestle that car, Nico. And he's got to do that for a further 8 minutes plus 1 lap. And I just wonder whether he's got a slowly deflating tyre. Danilo Del Favaro has got Max Mugelli right behind him now. But Danilo Del Favaro is academic. Max Mugelli is not in the same category. But Michael Verhagen, there's Giacomo Altoe, who is on the radio as we speak. And Sergio Paulet is now 5.5 seconds ahead of Nicholas Abrahamsen. But Abrahamsen is going to try and close that, but I just think he will need some intervention to help him, I believe, Nico.
Yeah, in fairness, Abrahamsen was marginally quicker the last time around, but Sergio Paulet, with that gap, firmly in control mode. Let's see how the gap has developed over the last lap. Well, it was 0.8 quicker this time, and Nicholas Abraham is actually the fastest lap of the race, so giving it a very solid effort. But with 7 minutes plus a lap, it would take quite a monumental effort.
Herculean, I think.
That's a very good word.
Thank you. Verhagen doing a good job here. It's Danilo Del Favro when he's determined to get by. And I think he's probably, wow. I thought he'd probably have the momentum out of that, but he didn't. So Michael Verhagen manages to hold on to it for a further corner and straight. And they're queuing up behind now, Nico, which makes me think that the earlier pace he had, which certainly isn't fluky, is it? We've seen the incredible driving prowess of Michael Verhagen, but for now he's certainly having to drive different lines to those that would be the optimum. And Danilo Del Favro has not yet found a way by, and Max Mugelli and also the car of Thomas Nunes Franco lining up behind.
Yeah, and I think as a racing driver, those must be very tense, but also, if you can do it, fairly rewarding moments. You always want to fight for the victory, but when everything's against you and you really have to manage, and I think there is something as now Danilo Del Favro is trying to get alongside. You know, if you know that we're really, at this moment, you don't have a fighting chance, and you still take it and you still defend with all your worth, there must be some sense of satisfaction in that as well.
For sure. I completely agree with you. So we will find out at the end of this race what Verhagen is having to contend with, but whatever he's having to contend with, he's doing a jolly good job here as Max Mugelli and Thomas Nunes Franco continue their little fight as they go side by side here. Well, Mugelli and Nunes Franco, it's now Nunes Franco ahead of Max Mugelli. Danilo Del Favro still not being able to find a way past. Oh, and Verhagen was very sideways there, Nico. And in defense, Danilo Del Favro was on the grass for a moment, which has meant that Nunes Franco is able to get right alongside. And I just wonder whether the sideways that we're seeing from some of the drivers out there is just tyre deg. It's so blooming hot. And, you know, this tarmac is aggressive, Nico. They've taken a lot out of the tyres during a qualifying session earlier on today. We're reaching the final few laps of this race. Earlier on, I thought whether Michael had got maybe a slowly deflating tyre. Perhaps it is no more than just absolute, you know, use of the tyres.
Yeah, that's something we will indeed find out after the race. In the meantime, just a brief look to the front. It's 4.1 seconds now, and we're only 4 minutes plus a lap remaining, but Abrahamsen is really reeling in Sergio Paulet. We know Sergio has all the experience in the world. He knows how to manage a lead, but oh, and I think that was the move where Del Favro made it stick.
And racing room was given by Michael Verhagen, to be fair. And now he's got through. Look at the pace advantage Danilo Del Favro has got. I mean, you know, 5 car lengths already in the space of just a few hundred meters of tarmac, Nico.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it's going to be Verhagen against Nunes Franco, and Nunes Franco will fancy his chances of moving up one place. The leader's 3.7 seconds, just to keep you up to speed.
All right, it's coming down, isn't it?
And there is the move on the inside, and that is job done. Max Mugelli probably will have to wait a little bit longer.
Otto Blank could be next in the queue here for the Pirelli Am drivers, Nico.
Yeah, Otto Blank didn't have a great qualifying, it has to be said, but he is at least moving up the order in the race, which is what he hoped he would be able to achieve, and well done.
So, whatever Michael Verhagen is having to contend with, he's contended with it well. But there is only so much you can do, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody is, the cars are identical except for setup, and if something's not 100%, if tire degradation is too high, then you're almost defenseless. But
yeah,
it's almost. because Michael Verhagen will still
Comes onto a
try.
blank around the outside of Max Mugelli almost.
Around the track almost as well, went very, very wide there. And now Max Mugelli has taken the excess speed around the outside. Going to blank do the same on the inside. Not here, not yet. 2 minutes and 5 seconds remaining. Sergio Paolo just started another lap, so I think that's 3 more laps to do.
Yes, I would agree with that.
The lead's back up to 3.9 seconds, so Sergio Paolo has responded, which I think underscores that he was maybe managing that gap, but we will continue to monitor that as there is Otto Blank, and you can see that home straight, which is an eternity. It's so very, very, very long.
You can see the car just sliding around, can't you, Nico? 1.5 minutes plus a lap to do. Here's Sergio Paolo. And the gap now 4.9 between Sergio Paolo and Nicholas Abrahamsen. Last time they crossed a timing line. I have to say it's been a phenomenal debut showing from Nicholas Abrahamsen, Nico. He is going to be one to watch, I think.
Yeah, definitely very impressed with his performance. Sergio Paolo, a little bit of a cat and mouse game. Allowed Abrahamsen to come closer and closer, and when it got too close for comfort, he found another gear somehow, some way, and immediately has found 3 seconds almost. Although in the last sector, Abrahamsen was significantly slower than his previous pace, so that had something to do with that as well. But Sergio Paolo now once again looks like he is firmly heading for home, but it's another 2 laps to do, given that he's got to cross the timing line with about 15 or 17 seconds remaining.
If it stays this way, it will be Sergio Paolo getting back to winning ways, Nico. I mentioned during qualifying, he opened the season with 3 wins on the bounce, and then it all went a bit south. I say it went south. He was still getting podiums. It was either P2 or P3, but the race wins eluded. Maybe until today. We'll see. Sergio Paolo, Nicholas Abrahamsen, Giacomo Ronaldo leading Nobuhiro Imada for the AM drivers. The clock has counted down to 0, but Sergio Paolo had crossed the timing line, so it'll be the remainder of this lap plus 1 more, by my reckoning, Nico.
Indeed. Daniel Favreau, he is currently in P3. Nunez Franco is only 9/10 behind, so that third and final podium position in the AM is still very much under contention. That's the closest battle out front, as Michael Verhagen continues to drop down the order. And it's now being reeled in by Otto Blank, and indeed there it is on screen for you. Otto Blank on the right-hand side, pink mirrors. I think that's job done.
I think you're right, and there are probably lesser drivers that would not have been able to hold on to that as well as Michael Verhagen has done. Yeah, be really, you can see him really fighting with that once you're on board. Just watch through these turns, Nico. He's really having to tiptoe through the turns, so whatever it is. And there in replay was Danilo Del Favreau going through. And then we've got a whole queue of them here. And this was the final one that we've just seen, where Otto Blank goes through. So Sergio Paolo has now started what is the plus 1 lap. So it is the final lap with a margin of 9.1 seconds over Nicholas Abrahamsen. So he's lit up the wick a bit, hasn't he? He wants the point for fastest lap. Interestingly, if Michael Verhagen's going to wrestle anything away from this race, it will be the fact that he will still finish in the points for 6th place, I think. But not only that, he'll have a point for the fastest lap in class as well.
Yeah.
So he'll, actually maximise his points haul in terms of what he's been can possibly achieve in the race.
Absolutely. Giacomo Ronaldo has just overtaken Nicholas Abrahamsen, an inter-class overtake, so no change in terms of points. But I think that means Abrahamsen probably pushed and pushed and pushed for all he was worth, and then maybe drove his tires just a little bit and is
Which will
paying
be
the
an
price.
experience thing, won't it?
Absolutely.
You know, he's a young driver and a very impressive young driver so far. The Ferrari Challenge has produced some extraordinary young drivers. And just this week, one of those drivers, you know, actually in a meeting with the president with the United States of America, you know, because he's gone off to race in IndyCar, and rapidly, as I'm trying to think of his blooming name, it's not coming to me now. Oh, how irritating is that, Nico? But here we go. Sergio Paulet taking the win. Alex Paolo, that was the name I was looking for. Sergio Paulet taking the win for Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli. So he does get back to winning ways. That will be his 4th win of the season. And Giacomo Rinaldo wins for our Trofeo Pirelli AM drivers. And that's only Giacomo Rinaldo's 2nd win. And Nicholas Abrahamson and Nobuhiro Amada, Tomas Nunes Franco, Danilo Del Favaro, Max Mugelli, and then it will be Otto Blank and Michael Verhagen. Wow. Tell you what, we've had some brilliant racing today and some dramatic racing, Nico.
Indeed, Sergio Paulet, he stayed out of it for the most part, got it onto his pole position and then did not relinquish that. It was more what happened behind him that provided the drama during the race. But he will get a very comfortable points haul. He'll miss out on the fastest lap, but he got the pole position. He will have maximum points for position, so he will certainly do his championship aspirations a whole lot of good.
You're absolutely right. So cars on the slowing down now. And we're going to see 2 new drivers on the podium, Nico. When Tomas Nunes Franco and Nicholas Abrahamson making their debuts in the Ferrari Challenge, making their debuts on a Ferrari Challenge podium. Not a bad way to start your racing, is it?
No. They will be pretty cheerful, as I think will be Max Mugelli, who gets a podium out of this race as well. And Nobuhiro Imada didn't always have it his own way. He's been very entertaining and very strong, certainly for the most part of the season. Didn't always get the reward from his performances, but today, finishing the race on P2 is gonna be a very positive one, and one that he will most certainly cherish.
So cars making their way into Parc Fermé then. So first 3 races of the season, this man won. And then it was down to P2s and P3s, but he's got back to winning ways today. Sergio Paulet then. Driving for the Ineco Reparto Corsa Ram team, which means that Giorgio Sonagiotto and Enrique will be very happy about that. Sergio jumps out of the car. There, the congratulations being afforded. Bravo, mate. There's Giorgio. And there, look at this, Nicholas. That's Giacomo Rinaldo being congratulated. Wait to see Nicholas Abrahamson, who's just pulled into Parc Fermé. Here's Tomas Nunes Franco then. Let's take a look at the confirmation then of the classification now. Here it is. Sergio Paulet takes the win for Pirelli AM, Giacomo Rinaldo taking the win. Then it was Nicholas Abrahamson, Nobuhiro Amada, Tomas Nunes Franco, Danilo Del Favaro, Max Mugelli and Otto Blank with his best finish of the season, taking and banking a P5 ahead of Michael Verhagen. And then not classified for Jason McCarthy, Juha Turalba and Ruben Fernando Fernandez Gil, I should say. And Herbert Guys didn't start the race, sadly. And let's take a look at the super slow-mo of Sergio Paulet then, who gets back to winning ways here in Portimão, driving the #1 car, and we'll be hearing from Sergio in just a moment. You may recall we heard from him right at the start of the program by dint of the fact that he was our pole sitter, starting from P1 on the grid. So yes, the pole position drivers generally we hear from on the starting grid, and of course he has become the race winning driver, so we will hear from him again, and stand by for searching questions that will be delivered right now by Ludovica.
Sergio, congratulations, a very clear and perfect race for you that you planning this morning. I want to discover more about your feeling for this important result, even for the championship.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Honestly, the P1 for the championship is massive. Have a big distance now, so that was the work that we have to do as a team. The team did perfect. I mean, car felt amazing. Of course, we had a lot of oversteering because of the temp here in the track. It's too high. Also, the wind is very different than this morning. But the important point was to manage the start. Try to not let the AM drivers, because they were just behind me, to overtake and then fight and lose a lot of grip fighting with them. So I made a good start and then just managing the pace. So did great. Honestly, felt amazing.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Ciao.
Well done, Sergio. We certainly did discover how the race unfolded for Sergio. Up next, we will be hearing from our AM winner. That's the Rosso Corsa driver, Giacomo Rinaldo. We can see the car here in super slow-mo, and you can see him sliding it through those turns, reinforcing the fact of what Sergio Paulet said about the car and the temps, and the tyre deg was playing havoc with some of our drivers and their cars. So let's hear from our Pirelli AM race winner now, Giacomo Rinaldo.
Wow, Giacomo, congratulations. What an incredible race for you. Second overall and first in your category. I want to discover with you, how do you feel to be here today?
It's amazing. My first season in the challenge and already second win, one in Le Mans, one here. It's really, the growth is really coming along. The training and everything is amazing. It's a great satisfaction.
If you want to say something in Italy, for Italy.
Ciao a tutti a casa in Italia. Grazie mille per il supporto.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, he was saying in Italian, thanks to everyone for your help. Ferrari Challenge, Trofeo Pirelli then, and Pirelli AM drivers. Let's get ready to rumble. Sergio Paulet with a brilliant start, heading towards turn #1. Great start too from Nobuhiro Amada, almost putting it to the inside of Giacomo Rinaldo. And that was very unfortunate, taking out a couple of drivers, bringing out the Richard Mills safety car. And Michael Verhagen, where once was looking so dominant, seemed to be under pressure. Giacomo Rinaldo going through, the first of the drivers to go through in the number 75 car. Then it was Nobuhiro Amada with a great overtake on Michael Verhagen. So Verhagen then clearly struggling as one by one drivers coming by. Another one to do the same. Danilo Dal Favaro, driver of the all-black number 9 car. Michael Verhagen, who was leading Pirelli AM, defending for all he was worth. However, as I say, so many cars managing to get past Michael Verhagen. And Otto Blank, driver of the number 71 296 Challenge car, goes through as well. Sergio Paulet back to winning ways for Pirelli. And for Pirelli AM, it would be Giacomo Rinaldo that would be victorious.
Already for the podium.
There is Michele Mambelli. It's not often that we see him, and we can see him today, and he is bringing everyone out onto the podium, the Pirelli podium first of all. Here comes Max Mugelli.
Second driver on the podium, Niklas Abrahamsen.
Niklas Abrahamsen then on his debut in the Ferrari Challenge
from Spain,
on the podium.
Paulette.
So Max Mugelli, P3. Nicholas Abrahamson, P2. Max
And we're ready
Mugelli,
for national anthem.
P3. But Sergio Paolo on the top step of the podium. Can I just say here, Nicholas Abrahamson is like 7 foot tall.
Presented by Miguel Molina.
Here comes Miguel Molina, Ferrari factory driver, to make the trophy present. Just look at Sergio Paolo on the top step of the podium. Nicholas Abrahamson on the second step of the podium. It's like you could draw a line. There is Nicholas receiving that trophy. Well done, friend.
And the trophy for
here comes the race winner's trophy to Sergio Paolo to be presented by Miguel Molina, top Ferrari factory driver. And of course, Inico Reparto Corsa Ram are in receipt of the
Miguel Molina Pirelli Trophy Fabio Tarantini Market and Supplier Quality Motorsport
trophy. Here comes the Pirelli trophy presented by Fabio Tarantini, who's market and supplier Quality Motorsport.
Fabio Tarantini on the podium. We completed the stuff, and for driver, lift your trophy. Lift your trophy, please.
Lift up your trophies, please.
Okay, up your trophy.
Up your trophy.
Okay. Photos.
Who's going to be first with the champagne?
Now we are ready for the
Come on, Nicholas. Come on, Nicholas.
Champagne.
I think it was Sergio, to be fair. Nonetheless, I would suggest Nicholas will remember this day for a long time, his first podium.
Yeah, I mean, you never forget your first Ferrari Challenge event, you never forget your first Ferrari podium, and if you combine that into one, that is even more memorable and unforgettable, and great to see him. I hope that we will see him lots of times in the future. We will certainly see him tomorrow, and let's see what he can do with that one race of extra experience.
Yes, he certainly put it to good use today, didn't he? So, top 3 cars, and the best of them all. The car of the Inico Reparto Corsa Ram team and Sergio Paolo in P1. Stand by, we've got Pirelli Am podium to come, where we will see Tomas Nunes Franco, Nobuhiro Amada and Giacomo Rinaldo. Before that though, let's take a look at the Trofeo Pirelli Drivers' Championship. Sergio Paolo, who's got a 39-point margin over Max Mugelli, and Lucas Dezzato, who's not here this weekend. He's ahead of Fernando Monche, who's also missing this weekend. So that's the way the Trofeo Pirelli Drivers' Championship looks at the moment. Still a lot of racing to be done before we get to the end of the season, which comes just up the road, well, relatively, at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona. A bit more than just up the road. Here comes the AM podium then.
And the second one,
and taking P3, Tomas Nunes Franco. Here comes Nobuhiro Amada, who's always delighted to take the podium.
Giacomo Rinaldo.
And on the top step of the podium, here comes Giacomo Rinaldo.
Team Rosso Corsa on the podium.
And Rosso Corsa are going to be represented on the podium as well.
For national anthem.
Here comes the anthem.
Claps, applausi, all the winners and the trophy. Miguel Molina,
here comes our Ferrari factory driver, Miguel Molina, who'll be joining us on the air tomorrow to make the trophy presentations right now.
The trophy for the second, Nobuhiro Imada. And
so, Thomas Nunes Franco in receipt of his trophy, Nobuhiro Amada in receipt of his, as Jean-Roux looks on and offers congratulations as well. Here comes the race winner's trophy to be presented to Giacomo Rinaldo.
Trophy for team manager, for you, for your work, Rosso Corsa team.
And Rosso Corsa.
Trofeo Pirelli, Fabio Tarantini, Market and Supplier,
for
Quality
Pirelli,
Motorsport, Presence Trophy
Fabio
for
Tarantini, the Market and Supplier Quality Motorsport, making the trophy, the Pirelli trophy presentation as well. Right, let's herd those drivers and trophy presenters together for the photographs.
Lift your trophy and smile to camera, okay?
Lift and smile, please. It's like
people on grandstand for you, and the show is not over.
the show is far from over until the champagne has been sprayed. Who will be the first to
The
do
show
that?
is not over
Nobuhiro Amada has
without
got my vote.
our
He'll be the first.
champagne battle.
Told you, it was Nobuhiro Amada.
Lift and smile and spray.
Yes, it's kind of like some weird deodorant commercial.
Fair enough.
Here come the cars then. Thomas Nunes Franco taking P3. So the number 67 car takes P3 for FBO Rouge competition. Taking P2 for Formula Racing then, Nobuhiro Imada. And the win was sealed by the Rosso Corsa racer, Giacomo Rinaldo. Let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship for our Pirelli Am drivers then. Michael Verhagen, well, 41 points ahead of Giacomo Rinaldo, who's now moved up a place into P2 in the Drivers' Championship. Danilo Del Favaro now is P3 in the Drivers' Championship. So that's the way it looks, with the rest of the order there, as you can see. So there we have it then, our Trofeo Pirelli and Pirelli Am Race 1 is done. We have another race to come from those drivers tomorrow. Please make sure you join us for that if you can. From Nico and from myself, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more action from the Ferrari Challenge Europe. Bye-bye for now.